So let's get right into it. We need to talk about a puzzle that traps so many smart, ambitious people. Why is it that we can spend endless hours thinking, planning, and strategizing, but so little time actually doing? Now, this isn't about motivation or hustle culture. This is about mental physics.
This is the real question, isn't it? It's what we're here to decode. We're going to look at the hidden mechanics that explain why some people just get stuck in these endless thought loops, while others seem to turn ideas into reality almost effortlessly, especially when the pressure's on. And here's the thing, it's a totally solvable problem, but only once you see the pattern. All right, here's our roadmap. We're breaking this down into 6 pieces. We'll start with the core signal, the paradox itself. Then we'll look at the pattern winners use to escape it. We'll see how this plays out in the game of life, talk about the cost for those who stay stuck, and then uncover the edge, the mental physics of momentum. And we'll wrap it all up with a few sharp questions just for you.
Okay, first up, let's isolate the signal. This is that one counterintuitive truth that really separates the thinkers from the doers.
Here is the fundamental misunderstanding that trips everyone up. The myth is that you need to think your way to a perfect plan before you can start. But the signal, the thing we see in every single high-stakes environment, is the exact opposite. Action isn't what you do after you have clarity. Action is the tool you use to generate clarity. You don't figure out the path by staring at the map forever. You find it by taking that first step.
So why do we get stuck in the first place? Well, it usually comes down to this idea. Ambition without boundaries. When your goal is just too big, too vague, it doesn't actually inspire you to act. It just inspires you to think, and think, and think. You end up on this mental treadmill, running in place, feeling totally exhausted, but you haven't moved an inch.
Okay, so if that's the trap, how do the top performers manage to avoid it so consistently? Let's get into the pattern they use to break out of those thought loops.
This really gets to the heart of the psychology. See, our brains crave certainty. So overthinking feels good. It feels productive. It feels safe because it gives you this illusion of control while you put off the messy uncertainty of actually doing something. But it is an illusion, and it is the single biggest thief of your time and your momentum.
So here's the alternative. This is what we call the doer's loop. Instead of just thinking endlessly, winners constrain the problem. They make it smaller. Then they take the smallest possible action they can think of. They immediately look at the feedback from that action, and then they adjust and do it again. This whole loop is built for one thing, momentum, not perfection.
Now let's look at how this plays out in the real world, because this isn't just some theory. This is literally how the game is won or lost when the stakes are high.
Think about it. The competitor who's waiting for 100% certainty is always going to lose to the one who moves on 70%. The founder who ships a flawed product and then iterates with real feedback will always outmaneuver the one who's stuck perfecting it behind closed doors. In leadership, in negotiation, the advantage always goes to the person who is willing to act, to test, and to adapt even when things are uncertain.
But what if you don't escape that loop? What's the real price you pay for being ambitious but paralyzed?
The cost is, well, it's severe. In any competitive space, if you're not acting, you become invisible. If you're not producing, you eventually become replaceable. And maybe, worst of all, on a personal level, that constant churn of thinking without the release of action, it just erodes your confidence. It makes you mentally fragile. You actually start to doubt if you can do anything at all.
And that potential you have, that big ambition you're always thinking about, if you never test it against reality, it stops being a source of strength and it becomes a prison. It just turns into this source of anxiety and regret, a constant reminder of what you could be doing instead of what you are doing.
This brings us to the way out, the alternative operating system. We call it the edge. This is how winners think differently about the relationship between who they are and what they do.
This is the absolute core of the edge. Winners get that your identity isn't some static thing you find through deep thought. It's something you build piece by piece through your actions. Every single action you take, no matter how small it is like casting a vote for the type of person you're becoming.
To put it really simply, identity is an output, not an input. The person who hesitates thinks, I need to feel confident before I can act. The elite operator knows the truth. I will become confident by acting. For them, identity is proven in motion. And this completely changes how they see risk. To the overthinker, risk is this huge monster that has to be analyzed and planned away. But for the doer, risk isn't a monster. It's just a variable. It's something to be managed with small, smart
calibrated actions. You don't think your way past risk, you act your way through it. So, to bring this all home, we're going to turn this analysis on you. It's time to go from the abstract to the immediate. First question, and be honest with yourself. Name it. What is that one project, that one goal, that one ambition that lives in your head all the time, but never ever makes it onto your actual to-do list? Second, you have to identify the bottleneck. Where are you telling yourself that you just need a little more information, or a slightly better plan, or for the timing to be perfect? Where is that illusion of perfect clarity being used as an excuse to do nothing?
And finally, this is the most important question. Forget about the big outcome for just a moment. What is the smallest possible action you can take right now that will begin to rewrite your identity from someone who just thinks to someone who actually does? Because that's the only question that really matters.